Hey guys, I'm Rich.
And I'm Britt.
And thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you to all the subscribers. Hey, we really appreciate you. Well, today, my wife and I would love to have a conversation with you called While You Wait. You know, love, waiting oftentimes is a frustrating thing. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, I'm not the best person when it comes to waiting. You know, sometimes when it comes to waiting, you know how I am when we're going to go get something to eat and when we're trying to go in a drive-thru and we see so many cars. I'm not the type of person to sit there and wait. I'm actually the type of man that when I see a huge line, I'll skip it and look somewhere else. Why? Because I don't like to wait.
Yeah, like I remember one time before I started this whole like vegan life kind of thing, and I was so excited for In-N-Out Burger, and there was a huge line, and you literally like wouldn't take me there. You're like, nope, the line's too long, bye. I was like, no.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I feel like if I can't be in and out, then I shouldn't be at In-N-Out. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why it's called drive-thru. So I could drive through, get my food, and move on, you know? But one thing that I picked up, though, when it comes to places with long lines, the places with the longest lines oftentimes are the best places with the right food.
So good.
And sometimes when we go to places that don't have lines that you get the food right away, it's not the greatest food.
Yeah.
The same principle applies when it comes to relationships.
Yes.
I've learned that when you wait for the right one, you will enjoy being with the right one because you know you didn't settle.
Right.
So my wife and I just want to give you some encouraging tips while you wait, because waiting is not easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the first point that we have for you while you are waiting is that while you are waiting, don't wait desperately. Wait gracefully.
Come
on, oftentimes I can see, people who are posting photos and quotes on Instagram, and it's almost as though they post things like, when the right guy comes along, he's going to treat you like this, this, and this. Now, I think that it's amazing to encourage yourself in the Lord, but if you're taking jabs at your ex-boyfriend, you're not gracefully waiting. You're kind of desperately waiting, because what you're saying is, hey guys, I'm single, I'm on the market, and I'm still bitter that my last ex-boyfriend didn't treat me right. Well, if you want to attract the right man of God, then you have to wait gracefully, because a man of God is discerning. So he can discern, okay, this woman is pure-hearted and she is ready to handle a man like me, or he's going to look and say, yeah, she's like a hungry tiger, and vice versa. This goes for men too, because I see some men posting some things about, when the queen comes around, she's going to be like this and that. So I just really encourage you to, wait gracefully and check your heart behind it. If you're truly just encouraging yourself to wait, and you are encouraging other people, then go for it. But if you're trying to take jabs at somebody, then just stop posting those kinds of things. Wait gracefully and know that the right man or woman will come along.
Hey, love, how can someone wait gracefully? What does that look like?
Waiting gracefully, you have to first seek the God of grace in order to be able to wait gracefully. You have to understand that, heartbreak is a real thing. And if you've been heartbroken in life, it is a process that you're going to go through to try to get that healing. So don't be so public with it, because it could be, have accountability, but in regards to posting on Facebook and Instagram, it's almost as though you're taking jabs at somebody. So really seeking the Lord during that time, and give yourself grace that you're in a season of singleness. There's nothing wrong with being single. I actually chose to be single. I chose to take a year off, and I didn't date anybody. I didn't talk to or hang out with guys. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to get to know the God of grace so that I could wait in grace, so that I could eventually give grace to the man that God was going to bring me.
That's totally good, love. Totally good. The second thing I would say is that expectations has to match your preparation.
So good.
I see a lot of people that are looking for the right one. But the only issue is that they're not the right one. And oftentimes we expect to be with the man of God, or we expect to be with the woman of God. And we expect these things from a certain person, but we're not even that.
Wow, that's good.
So we have to learn, while we're expecting, we have to learn to be preparing.
Right.
You see, when I see a woman who's pregnant, I've never seen a woman who's expecting a child not get a room ready.
Right.
Because the truth is, they're out there buying a crib,
Yeah.
they're painting the room, getting things decorated, getting things ready. Why? Because they're expecting something. But their expectations always come along with preparations.
So
they're preparing for what God has for them. The same principle applies when it comes to relationships. You see, when you are expecting a woman or man of God, hey, I encourage you to start preparing your heart. How do you prepare your heart? Well, a couple of things. Number one, you can prepare your heart by asking God, is there any baggage or is there anything inside of me that I need to remove from my life that could potentially hinder the man or woman of God for my life?
Yeah.
Okay, the second thing I would say to you in regards to preparation is make sure you get a vision.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible teaches us that without a vision, the people perish. And most relationships end up perishing because they have no vision.
Yeah.
They'll receive the woman of God, they'll receive the man of God, but they have no vision. And man, this is seriously important for you. Don't ask a woman out if you cannot lead her.
Yeah.
You lead her by having a vision for her, for having a vision for both of you. When you get a vision, then ask her out so you can lead her right.
Yeah.
You know, love, one thing that I've been realizing about the scriptures is that whenever God is about to send something to a person, or whenever he has something for a person, he's always preparing them.
Yeah, that's true.
In other words, God first forms you, and then he sends what's for you. Hey, that's a word for some of you here today. God is forming you so he can give you what's for you. What's for you is that man of God. What's for you is that woman of God. But first, let's let God form you. Let's let God shape your heart, shape your mind, shape your vision so you can be able to receive all that God has for you.
That's really good. I like that. And I always say that you don't have to have a title to act like it. So
Hey,
if you
that's
want
so
to
good,
be a
love. So
husband
good.
or you want to be a wife, act like you already are in the privacy of your own household. I remember I got myself in the routine of cooking breakfast and packing my lunches and cooking dinner because I knew that one day I wanted to give that to my husband. And there were times where, when I would pray over my breakfast or my dinner, like I would pray as though I had a family with me, you know?
Yeah.
I was visioning myself married with children. And so just because you don't have that title doesn't mean that you can't already start to be that wife of God or that husband of God. Like, be who it is that you know your future spouse is going to need, because while you're waiting, that's the perfect time to practice those things.
So good.
And the third point is that while you're waiting, don't allow your life to be on wait.
Hey, that is good. Come on.
Just because,
break it down, love.
Yes, let's break that one down. Because you're waiting to get married, you're waiting to become that wife or that husband, doesn't mean that your life should be put on hold. Okay, so I know I've heard people say, oh, well, one day when I get married, then I'll start saving. Start saving your money now. Or one day when I get married, I'm going to marry a pastor and then I'm going to preach. Well, start writing your sermons now. Be ready for that.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, don't allow your life to be on hold, because marriage isn't a finish line. It's the beginning of a journey, but you can get a head start on that journey by starting right now. So that's important, like you said, about having a vision. Don't just have a vision. Go and take steps towards your vision, and know that as you're fighting for your vision and you don't put your life on hold, eventually that right man or that right woman is going to come into your path, and it's going to be exactly who you need, because you're going to notice that you guys are both fighting for the same vision. So surround yourself with people who are going to inspire you and encourage you, and don't allow yourself to wait while waiting.
The fourth thing that I would encourage you to do is, while you wait, keep serving.
Yes.
You know, love, a lot of couples, a lot of people talk about Ruth and Boaz. And what I love about Ruth is that Ruth was a servant. She was serving her mother-in-law, Naomi. You know, and we know Ruth's story. Some of you may not know Ruth's story. Ruth, her husband, died in battle. And Ruth could have easily complained. She could have been bitter. She could have sat home and not helped out. If she wanted to, she could have sat and just mourned for the rest of her life. But what I love what Ruth did was Ruth kept serving. And as she served Naomi, there was this man named Boaz, and Boaz started to notice Ruth. But isn't it interesting that Boaz noticed Ruth, not when she was out and doing her thing. Boaz didn't notice Ruth when Ruth was out, twerking or trying to post these crazy photos. You know when Boaz noticed Ruth? Boaz noticed Ruth when Ruth was out there serving.
Yeah.
See, Boaz was a man of God. Not only was he a man of God, but the brother was wealthy. See, Ruth received Boaz because she was willing to serve others.
Right.
You know, the Bible teaches us that what you reap, you'll reap what you sow. Mm-hmm. So if you sow and help other people, guess what? In return, God is going to sow back into your life.
So good.
Hey, that's why we really encourage you to keep on serving. One thing that I love about my wife is a servant. That is one of the things that I noticed about her. She kept serving in the house of God. And here's what I understood. I understood that if my wife could serve in the house of God, then I know she's going to be a good mother. She's going to be a good wife. And she's going to be incredible in every asset of her life because she is a servant. Mm-hmm. Serving is one of the greatest aspects of your life. So we really encourage you to keep on serving.
Yeah, I love that. And I love to, you'll attract who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
You know, so eventually, like if you just keep serving in God's house, eventually you're going to attract somebody from God's house,
Come
you
on.
know? And so, because I always find it funny when somebody is waiting, they're single, but then you hardly ever see them at church. They're always at home, in bed, eating Ben and Jerry's. Like, Ben and Jerry is my man. Hello.
Hey,
no, but don't do that. Like, get yourself out there, and you will eventually you'll attract exactly what you are. So if you're going to be a servant, then you're going to attract a man who's also going to love to serve you.
So good.
So anyways, that's all that we have for you today. We just thank you so much for tuning in. For daily inspiration, you can check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Rich and Britt, RICHBR.
ITT.
Rich and Britt. Don't forget the end. You can check us out at Rich and Britt. Come on, it's not that hard to spell. Anyways, we just love you and we're super grateful for you tuning in today. We hope and we pray that this video encouraged you. And until next time, we'll see you later.
God bless you.